going on, everyone?
Good morning. We're just waiting for it to start.
All right. We're live in both groups here. Hope all of you are doing amazing. Happy Monday. If you are already at work, catch the replay later. Make sure you comment replay down below. And if you're here right now, welcome to this masterclass. Today we're talking about another amazing topic because Brittany's just the best and she comes up with the best topics. So we're talking about binge eating and nighttime cravings today. Okay, so obviously binge eating is one of the most common things that me and Brittany deal with when it comes to something that really affects someone and kind of falls a little bit into the addiction category as well for some people, where it can be very difficult for them to maintain a proper nutrition schedule, whether it's rigid or whether there's a lot of variety, doesn't matter. Binge eating seems to always creep its way back into someone's life, and so that's something we're going to talk about today.
Good morning, Kelly and Gabby.
Good morning,
From
Kelly
what
and
I
Gabby.
see,
Yeah,
and everybody else,
and
obviously.
everyone else
That's just who I saw for comments.
If you're tuning in, welcome. If you're going to watch
Gabby
later,
said watching from the gym.
watching from the gym, right on. It's the best time to watch. Absolutely, get multiple things done at the same time. It's the best way to do this. On top of that, again, comment replay if you're watching it later. No big deal at all. This is just for you, all of you, to reap the benefits, right? So, nighttime cravings and binge eating. What are we talking about here? Very self-explanatory there, all right? And something we constantly deal with on a regular basis, whether it's with clientele or whether it's with people that are just asking for advice or help or family or friends. It's like one of the most common things we see. It's something I used to struggle with when I was younger. I've been in the gym since I was 14, but the first couple of years, if all of you have been following along, the first couple of years my nutrition wasn't 100% dialed in, and it's something that I had to learn. And so training was what I learned first. I got a really good understanding of that, and then I started learning more about nutrition. And initially, for the first couple of years, from 14, 15, and 16, when I was in high school and finishing up middle school, I was definitely in that cycle of kind of binging and having crazy nighttime cravings that I always constantly gave into, okay? And so, for today's masterclass, we're going to talk about ways to navigate these sensations, how to navigate binge eating and stop it at its source. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Now, I do want to be clear right now, like if binge eating, and we've had clients in the past where binge eating like really rules over their life, it may be wise to bring in some psychological help as well if you really struggle with binge eating on a psychological level as well. Like it's just more than just cravings. Like there's certain triggers that cause you to sort of lose control and black out and eat a million things at once, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right?
We're more so talking about, exactly, like nighttime cravings, binging, but not like on the aspect of like it's becoming maybe like a full-blown eating disorder, because then we would always recommend, obviously, like clinical help for sure with that.
That's right, yeah.
But we're like, I see this the most for sure is women, especially like coming into our program, is they'll tell me that they don't eat all day. It's so common. I hear that all the time, or they don't eat until mid-afternoon or whatever. And then that's why they're getting cravings, because they've hardly consumed any calories because they're so busy. So like that's a really common aspect of like the nighttime and binge eating and cravings and things like that, because you've obviously been going all day, whether that be like working, driving your kids everywhere, just like so many different aspects. And then it's like the only time you have is like maybe when the kids are winding down and stuff, and then you start to eat, and you actually consume more calories than you would if you would have just eaten all day.
100%.
And obviously, and sorry, those calories are normally like dirtier calories with like chips and things like that. From my like experience with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry if I'm coughing, by the way. I've got something in my throat here.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry about that. Anyways, I agree with Brittany. So there's so many ways that this can come into play here, okay? And what I've seen with binge eating is multiple things, and actually things on both ends of the spectrum. I've seen people who, like Brittany said, don't eat all day, so they save all their eating for night, and then they're so hungry that they end up losing control. And I've also seen people who eat a lot earlier in the day, and because they've eaten earlier in the day, their ghrelin or the hunger hormone is surging through their body, and they feel they need to continuously eat throughout the day as well. That was my problem, by the way, when I was younger, is I would have a huge breakfast, and there's nothing wrong with a big breakfast, that's not what I'm getting at here. I would have like a huge non-nutritious breakfast.
More so you would just eat all your cookies.
That's right. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started, right? Like anyone else. I had no idea what I was doing. So when I was 14, 15, My grandma was still like making me freaking Eggo waffles for breakfast and shit. Like, until I was like, seriously, until I was like 16, 17 years old. Like my grandma could, I couldn't even make my own breakfast. She was just doing it for me. But like it was like Eggos and omelet with a bunch of cheese and like nothing was weighed out. And then sure enough, like, I have all this processed food. I'm eating it in abundance. And then throughout the day, I just felt the need to keep eating and eating and eating. Because my thought process back then was, well, the more I eat, the more muscle I'll build. And it kind of worked early on. I got really strong, but you get what I'm getting at here. I'm not going to go into that. So a lot of people struggle with one of those two things. They either eat a lot early on the day, and then it continuously spills into the later in the day, and then all of a sudden they're in 3-4K calories in, or like Brittany said, they don't eat for the majority of the day, right? Not because they intended to, but because just like life was in the way. They didn't prep meals. They were so busy, and then constantly they're at work. They're like on their computer at 2 p.m. and they're like, I'm so hungry. I can't wait to get home. And just have it crush the biggest dinner of all time. 1,500, 2,000 calorie dinner, and then from there again it just sets in, and you just keep eating and eating and eating and eating. So it's like a repetitive thing, right? It just keeps going and going and going. And oftentimes too, there are triggers with binge eating where it's like, one thing I've seen with like guys that I've worked with in the past, especially, is like if they're really into like, I don't know, football or soccer or hockey or something like that, they'll always pair the game they're watching with beer and pizza or beer and wings or something like that, right? And so there's like an attachment to like, every time I watch sports, which I love watching, I must eat greasy food because it's enjoyable, right? And then they never end up getting to where they need to be on the weight loss side of things or whatever their goal may be from a fitness perspective. So if you're struggling with binging at night, right? Typically, we find, like, for people that, remember, this is for people that don't suffer from like a real binge eating disorder, because like I said, it starts to spill over into the psychological side of things, and me and Brittany aren't gonna dive into that today. This is more if like you struggle with it on like Fridays and Saturdays, right? Like Friday rolls around, work's done for the week. You got to, week maybe work was stressful that week. You were busting
Or you just
ass.
notice you're eating all your calories into the evening, for example, and like obviously you're consuming more than you should be, things like that.
Right. Yeah, I find it happens a lot on the weekends though for people. Yeah. Like when people struggle with binge eating or having setbacks from a food perspective, it's usually on Fridays or Saturdays. And so one of the best things you can do, and one thing that me and Brittany have done for many, many years, is if there's something me and Brittany are craving, right? We'll talk amongst each other, like it's not a huge conversation. It's really just as simple as anyone else's conversation. Like, what do you want for dinner this week? What do you want for dinner tonight? Is there anything you want for dinner this weekend? It's Saturday. Do you want to have a date night and we stay home and we watch movies or something and we're going to make something? So what we'll do is, like, if let's say Brittany wants pizza, okay? Everyone loves pizza. We love pizza, right? Let's say Brittany wants pizza, but at that moment, we have very specific goals. We're trying to lose weight, or we're trying to get in shape for a vacation or an event or something, right? I know that, and so does Brittany. That comes first. My goals always come first. My fitness goals will always come first, no doubt about it. But the key here is understanding, like, whatever it is you're craving, you must 100%, remember, if you're focused on your goal, which you should be, you must 100% identify what it is you're craving and then make a healthier, macro-friendly version at home, okay? Oh, sorry. I thought the phone was...
I think it
I look like I just saw a ghost there. The phone was just loading weird.
Just reconnected. Is it good?
Never mind, we're good, yeah. I just want to double check there. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so what I'm essentially saying, I'll just cut to the shit here, is if you're craving something and you find like every weekend I'm binging on pizza, I'm binging on chips, I'm binging on wings, I'm binging on burgers, I'm just constantly eating out, whatever it is you're eating out specifically, like you really enjoy, make a macro-friendly version at home, okay?
Yeah, I think making a macro-friendly version at home for sure is definitely a hack, and there's so many things, like you can make a macro-friendly version of anything nowadays. Like you can do you can make your own Big Mac at home and it could fit within your calories, and like just so many different recipes like that for sure. I think too, not limiting yourself from like if you did want that pizza, planning for it, you can do things like keep it lighter during that day, have protein shakes, make sure you hit your protein before you have it, because we don't want to also restrict and not have you be able to have those things, if that makes sense.
That's right, 100%. Yeah, so like keep in mind what I'm saying here is, assuming we all have a specific fitness goal in mind at that moment, right? Which it's not always going to be like that.
I
That's the
think
thing.
just making it's your lifestyle, right?
That's
too.
right.
Yeah, like for us, it's we don't always like. Sometimes we'll have very specific goals, like maybe going into the summer, we want to go on a cut type of thing because you wear shorts and a tank top, but mostly outside in the summer. But yeah, like we always live the lifestyle of fitness, so that's kind of how we
That's
navigate.
what we've done, and that's what's worked for us and a lot of clients as well. And so that's why Brittany has so many recipes, right? That she's created over the years, is because those are recipes we've eaten together.
Yeah.
Like she's made so many of these recipes from scratch. It's amazing, by the way, like that you've done that. Because the reason I say that is because I'm the most rigid eater ever. Right? Brittany laughs because my meals are honestly beef and rice and vegetables, chicken and rice and vegetables, chicken and potato and vegetables, eggs and oats with blueberries. It's like it can't be more simple than my meals, okay? Because I have IBS, I have colitis, and so it just my digestion comes first for me. But what I'm trying to say is when we're craving something specific, it's good to make it at home. Now, another thing you can do as well, which works for me and Brittany, is if we're in a fat loss phase or anyone that's in a fat loss phase, another thing that might work is if you do want a cheat meal once a week, like something actually, like, because you're like, I'm not going to make better food than the Italian restaurant down the road or something. You can have the cheat meal, but keep in mind if you're in the process of losing weight, this is very important. Losing weight, okay? Because when you're losing weight, you have a finite amount of calories that you can eat in a day. If you're trying to gain weight, the cheat meal, in my opinion, is less impactful than if you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very important for obvious reasons. You're eating less, right? So if you're losing weight, you're really craving something specific, right? You can go look at a menu ahead of time at a specific restaurant and then pick something before you go. Then you can go, you can enjoy the meal. It's something relatively within your requirements, and that day, maybe your other meals, you make them a little bit smaller that day so that you can leave 1,000 calories or so for this big dinner you're going to have maybe with your husband, partner, friends, family, whatever. So keep in mind those two things I just brought up. Either identify what it is you're craving most of the time. If you're constantly struggling with eating pizza, then make a pizza at home, right? And just do the math, right? Okay, if I get this low calorie crust and I get these toppings and I cut off, I can eat half the pizza for this many calories. It felt like I'm eating a whole pizza, or it feels like I'm eating 4 or 5 slices of a pizza. It tastes pretty damn close, and I'm still getting where I need to be, so it doesn't even affect me.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are so good at this, by the way, that they do this every day. Like they just every day they have recipes. Again, hence why she has all these recipes, right? And that's why she gives them all to you guys, so that you guys can enjoy these types of meals every single day if you wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the other thing, like I said, is planning a cheat meal ahead of time. So saying, okay, this Saturday, and that's my style. Okay, Brit's the macro queen. My style is like, hey, I want to go out and enjoy a night with you. Let's look at this menu and see if anything fits our requirements. And if it does, like, oh, I'll get the chicken club, but I'll get a salad with it. And Brittany will get the, same thing. Maybe we'll order the same thing, chicken club with a salad. And then we eat it. We're enjoying a day out together. It doesn't feel any different than me sitting there and binging on nachos, pizza, wings, and everything. And then I'm like stuffed, right? And then you still hit your goal. So the next day you wake up and you don't feel like you're regretting anything.
I think going back to identifying, are you eating your calories in the beginning of the day and that's why you're hungry, or are you not eating at all, like I said, and then binging into the evening?
Exactly.
Because I like that point. I never really thought about that, because normally, from what my experience is if somebody's not eating into the day and then they're having all their calories at night.
Yeah.
But it does work the other way as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because both are completely different. They almost contradict each other, but really it's you, the individual, that you need to audit. And I'm very big on this. You need to audit your life, and you need to understand. Okay, why am I getting these cravings? Just sit down and really think about it critically.
What time do I eat? So
what time do I eat? What time am I not eating? Things like that.
Let's talk about like spacing your meals throughout the day and what could work for somebody. I was talking to one of my clients about this, because she's experiencing the nighttime hungers, and I'm now sitting here thinking for her, she's eating too many of her calories into the day, and we need to leave more room into the evening. And again, it's just very person dependent. So,
it is person dependent.
Yeah.
Like some people like having a small breakfast, a small lunch, a big dinner, and then like a small snack before bed, and that works for them.
And guys, it is like it is calories in versus calories out. So it really just depends what works for you. Like
right, and like so if we're starting from scratch here with it, like let's assume we're all trying to lose weight here, right? That's the goal I'm gonna lean on today, right? Like I usually do anyways.
Lose weight, but you're having these nighttime cravings.
Right, but
Yeah.
but this is what you're struggling with, right? First, you have to, like I said, audit your day and identify when am I having these cravings? When do they come? Like when is the onset of them? When am I giving into these cravings? Is it every day? Is it every second day? Is it once a week? And then like kind of correlate that with how are your results going? Because obviously, if you're staying the same weight, nothing's really moving. Your workouts aren't really getting any better, and the weeks keep going and going and going and going. Then this is something you must do. So you simply sit there and you say, okay, well, I missed breakfast because I hate eating breakfast and I don't have time, but you can find the time, trust me. And I don't eat a big lunch, but then dinner I get really hungry and we usually have this, and then we're eating out and then we're getting snacks later. It's like, that's the problem. So maybe try having a little bit of a bigger breakfast. Maybe try front loading some of those calories. Maybe try having a bigger lunch. Maybe try planning a smaller dinner. It all comes down to planning at the end of the day. It all comes down to planning your day ahead of time. If me and Brittany woke up every day and we had no idea what we were going to eat every single day, it would be definitely a lot harder to stay within our requirements if we were just kind of like free balling it every day. Oh, I don't know what we're going to have. We have nothing in the fridge. Maybe we should go buy this, or you know what I mean? I'm sure some of you can relate to that as well, just scrambling and then being like, screw it. You know what? Tonight let's just have pizza. Screw it. Let's just get Five Guys tonight. Whatever. You know what I mean? And then that's part of the problem, right? So it's very important to audit your day. Make sure you understand which times you're eating at. If you're struggling with nighttime cravings, if you're not struggling with nighttime cravings, great. That's amazing. Like thumbs up to you, because a lot of people really like it's one of the most common problems we've ever seen.
So I'll just talk on like for again, in what works for me may not work for you, but for me, for example, growing up as a child, I always had I called it part two, so dessert after I ate food. That's just how my family was. And so I just always crave something sweet after I eat dinner. And so what I do is I'll have our dinner, let's say, or whatever. I always leave room in my calories for right now. We're kind of on a protein brownie kick.
Yeah, that's
so
actually true.
We just do protein powder, a little bit of peanut butter. Obviously, it's all weighed out. Water, baking powder, and cocoa powder.
Yeah.
Stir it, microwave it for 2 minutes, and then it literally tastes like you're having like a brownie, but it's just
like
just protein powder.
It's not bad. It's dry.
It's like it's like 300 calories. Obviously, maybe a real brownie would taste better, but it satisfies that craving, and then I feel really good. And I watch it when we watch our show before bed type of thing. I feel very satisfied. Then we go to sleep.
Yeah, that's really good. So I want to add on to that actually. See, that goes back to what I was saying about making something like a different version of it. So Brittany just brought that up, right? We've been having a protein brownie every night, actually for quite like a couple weeks now.
It used to be everybody knows my pancake recipe.
Yeah, so her two ingredient pancakes.
It will go back to that eventually.
Yeah, and so me and Brittany, this is actually something we'd like to do together. Is like so literally last night I was finishing work in the office and I was getting late, and so Brittany will come in and tell me, hey, we should probably hit the hay, let's go to bed. So yesterday she came in, she's like, hey, I have our protein brownies ready, like come hang with me before we go to sleep here. So that is exactly what I was getting at, and that is so crucial, because here's the thing. Let's say you have the protein brownie that me and Brittany make. You have a protein brownie recipe, okay, that fits your requirements, like more than enough, and it satisfies that sweet tooth, and then you have a real brownie, okay? This is where you have to use logic, okay? If you're like let's look at the pros and cons of both. The pros of the brownie is it tastes better. Obviously, I'm not gonna sit here and BS, right? Like the brownie from the bakery or the brownie from the grocery store tastes better, but that's about it. That's the only pro. Then there's a long list of cons. You're gonna feel like crap after. It's gonna digest poorly. It's full of calories. Like a little square is like 500-600 calories. It's super, super dense brownies, right? You have to go out and buy it, right? Like it costs money to go get the brownies, right? You have it in your house, and chances are you're not just buying one brownie, you have like a pack of 12 brownies or something. So now you got a bunch of brownies you gotta eat, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many cons, but then let's look at the protein brownie. I'll start with the cons. The cons are it doesn't taste as good as the normal brownie.
I think it does.
but
yeah.
Brittany does, because Brittany's got the best palate of all time.
Yeah, the other thing too is like maybe if you're used to eating normal brownies at first, it may taste not as good, but then eventually it will taste just as good, if not better, because you'll feel good after eating it, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. So for that type of scenario, right? Like if you're used to eating very clean ingredients like me and her, then yeah, like the brownie will taste better than if someone was binging on brownies daily for months and months, and then they go to a protein brownie, let's say, like it might not taste as good to them. But in my opinion, like obviously something from a bakery is going to taste better than what you make at home unless you're like an expert. And nonetheless, that's not the point I'm trying to make though. The protein brownie, maybe it doesn't taste as good as the store-bought brownie, but the pros are endless, right? It fits your calories. You can have it every day. It satisfies the sweet tooth. There's volume, which means like the brownie, like because like the dish is like this big and it fills the
It's
whole
actually
dish.
really
So it's
good,
like a
yeah.
big brown, like it's a lot. It's kind
Makes
of
you
like
like
a,
want
like
to
a
have.
mud cake or whatever.
Mhm.
It's really good. So that's what I mean. Like there's so many benefits to having the macro friendly option. There's way more benefits to having the macro friendly option than to go out and get the not macro friendly option or just go get the pizza, the wings, the burgers, the nachos, whatever. Make a macro friendly version at home and then thank us later because it's just a massive hack if you're having nighttime
I
cravings,
have it
right?
with clients too sometimes where their cravings are so bad that we have the dinner plan, let's say, and then after dinner, maybe an hour after, they'll have a savory snack, like a high protein, savory, weighed out snack, and then 2 hours later, maybe they go to bed later, they'll have like the brownie or they'll have the pancake or whatever. And again, it's really not a big deal because I would rather somebody do that than be binging all night on food that's gonna like upset their digestion and not get them to their goals, right?
That's right. Yeah.
The only thing with that is eating later into the evening. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's calories in versus calories out. However, that food might not have fully digested by the time you wake up. So scale weight could be temporarily fluctuated up just because that food hasn't digested yet. But that doesn't mean you've gained weight or anything like that because it is at the end of the day calories in versus calories out. So it doesn't matter that you ate it later into the evening. So that's my opinion with weight loss for sure. Like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So and hopefully that all makes sense with the macro friendly option there. And then also with the cheat meal, like getting something that fits or try to get something that fits in your requirements. If you absolutely must go get food at a restaurant or must order something in for the night, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you do your research prior and just roughly estimate if there's no calorie, like you don't know how many calories are in something, just roughly estimate and put it in your tracker. It's better than nothing, okay? And so those two methods. Did you want to say something?
Making sure just obviously all of these things, especially into the nighttime, are very high protein. So between that 20 to 30 plus grams of protein, because that's what's going to keep you full. Protein keeps you feeling full.
Yeah, I failed to recognize that as well. Like that's so true. So making sure, sorry, these meals are also very protein dense.
So let's
as well.
say you
That's
really
right.
like a savory snack. I would say would be like a lighter one that you could do is maybe like you like rice cakes, for example. You could have quite a few rice cakes and it would kind of taste like or mimic like chips or something savory. You have to have a protein source with it because those carbohydrates, that's fine, but it's not gonna keep you full for very long, and then it's gonna be like, okay, I'm still hungry and I want to keep eating, so we have to have a protein source with that.
That's right.
Whether that be like a light deli meat, like a turkey, a protein shake, whatever it is, it has to have a protein source. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, because like ultimately protein's going to keep you fuller for longer, but it's also going to there's not one macronutrient, protein, carbs, and fats. No macronutrient's going to beat protein in terms of actually changing your physique and getting you where you need to be as well. So very important. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what's worked for us in nighttime cravings. Okay, that's worked with us as well, and having like a binging type of attitude towards things as well. And it's worked for a lot of clients we worked with over the years. It's just identifying. So first, if we had to put a step-by-step thing together, and you can write this down if you want, I would start by auditing your day, identifying, okay,
where do you struggle?
Where are the pockets of the day you're most hungry? Where are you struggling the most? Are you grabbing snacks out of the office? Like seriously, you need to audit your day, and you know better than anyone else in your life. Because when no one's around, if you're grabbing a handful of peanuts, only you know that. No one else does. Only you know that. So audit your day, be truthful and honest to yourself where you're going wrong or where you're struggling. Okay, that's step number one. Because step number two is to then identify again, like how am I going to stop doing this? So if I'm snacking at the office, maybe I need a bigger lunch. If I'm not eating all day and then binging into the night, maybe I need to start eating during the day. Right, like little things like that. That's the first thing you need to do, and then from there, when you do have cravings at night, okay, when it's like Friday night, Saturday night, or during the week, whatever, and you are normally ordering pizza, you're normally you're normally going to restaurants and just getting whatever you want, right? That's when you need to identify, okay, what are my favorite foods? I love burgers, I love fries, I love nachos, I love this, whatever it is, I love wings, and then make a macro-friendly version at home, okay? Because then you can eat it pretty much all the time, especially if it fits your requirements. If you want, you can have it all the time. and then you don't have to go spend a bunch of money, feel like crap after. Because that's the thing, if you're constantly having cheat meals, you're constantly going out, you're constantly eating too many calories, you're constantly craving or falling into the nighttime cravings, the day after you always feel like crap. Every single time. And I know this because I did it for many years when I was younger, like I said. I'd be 15, 16, waking up, oh, yeah, I'm getting stronger, I'm building muscle. Obviously, I'm a teenager, right? Like I'm young, so it's whatever. But then I started to put on some unnecessary fat, and then I would get frustrated with myself. Oh, I shouldn't have ate that last night. Oh, I ate too much food last night. Oh, I pigged out last night, right? And then I feel like crap about it. And then it's like a cycle, and it never ends. And then you end up like it crushes your confidence over time, and that's kind of a long term effect of just constantly falling into the nighttime cravings. Now, the last thing I want to say about this, and it's super cliche, but I have to say it, is none of this is going to work unless you execute and you show self restraint. You have to. Like, like if you make a macro friendly pizza at home and you eat the whole pizza and it fits your requirements, and then you go make another one and then another one, like you're overeating, right? Now you got to understand that there has to be self restraint there as well. Losing weight, hitting your fitness goals, building this type of lifestyle where it's like a lifelong endeavor, it's difficult. Otherwise, everyone on the planet, everyone you look at the mall, wherever you go, would be in wicked shape, and like fitness would be like taught in elementary, and it would be like the easiest thing ever. And it's not.
I think
like,
you have, and I always note this too, is with weight loss, it's okay to feel a little bit hungry. It's normal. I'm not saying you should be starving yourself, absolutely
no,
not.
but you should feel hungry for sure. Your body is actively
there,
losing weight.
There may be some times that you do feel a little bit of hunger for sure, and that's where we're talking about is having those, macro friendly snacks and our protein brownie and things like that are going to satisfy you but still be able to hit your goals.
That's right.
Yeah, and I also wanted to note too, just making sure you're eating enough calories. So if you're in our program, you are, but if you're somebody who's not, it's like we need to make sure like 1,200 calories isn't sufficient. And I can tell you right now, without doing calculations on a specific person, that's too low. That's too low. And we need to be. That's why it's like we need to be eating a good amount of calories so that we can spread those calories out throughout the day. That's appropriate for you so that you don't have those cravings, or at least you can satisfy that craving with a lower calorie option like the protein brownie.
That's right, yeah, and me and Brittany are very big on that. Like Brittany said, if you're in our program, you're eating more than enough food. I'd be shocked if you weren't. The rare time where calories get pulled to a very low level is if someone's a competitor, yeah, but like, you know what I mean, that's a completely different ball game, and we won't talk about that. So but yeah, that's pretty much all I had about the nighttime craving side of things. Remember, if you feel like the binge eating, if you struggle with binge eating, sorry, and you feel like it's something that's becoming like a burden on your life, and it feels like you like I said, like it's the same with like an addict who's like someone who's an alcoholic or something like that. It has that same type of effect on you. Then definitely seek psychological help for sure. We've had to recommend and like not send clients, whatever, like they were doing, they had no issues with the training and
I think
like
it's just once or twice where it's like come up where we're like
that's like
this is like a bigger case of like binge eating for sure,
right? And we should maybe start looking into some psychological help or
yeah
whatever,
so but we're more so talking about like just extreme nighttime cravings. You're pushing your calories too late into the evening, or you're eating them too much into the day to not leave enough room, that's leaving you feeling hungry,
right? So just these are very helpful tips that have worked for us and like hundreds of people we've worked with.
The other note too, sorry, last thing and then we're good, is Dylan said like auditing your day. So for me, I know like I have to have my coffee first thing, then we go to the gym, then we make our breakfast, then I have to have another coffee because I love coffee, and then I'll have a snack, I'll have my lunch, and then I know that second snack there between lunch and dinner, I'm a sweets girl. I love sweets. I crave something. I'll throw in my protein pancake there because I know that will satisfy me. Then I'll have my dinner. Then I'll have my protein brownie, for example. But I make it work within my calories that I could eat 5 to 6 times a day because I like food. I love food. It makes me feel good, and I'm hungry for my training sessions, right? And so again, that may not work for you, but that's what works for me. And I know when I have these cravings, I know I slip little meals or snacks in that will help me achieve my goals, but also keep me full and satisfied.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and we'll reply to it.
Yeah, we'll get back
if you're
to
not
it,
comfortable commenting, you can always message us as well.
Yeah, other than that, amazing masterclass. Again, thank you all for attending. Again, watching the replay, comment replay down below. Wednesday and Friday this week, we will be doing 2 more masterclasses, and yeah, we have them all planned out now once and for all. I know I say that every week pretty much, but I promise you this week, everything is going to come together and we'll get it done. So,
awesome, guys. Happy Monday. Let's have a great week.
See you guys. Have a good one.